What's going on, YouTube? So it's extremely rare for people like us as car reviewers to have a vehicle that we've been in love with for nearly a decade. But that describes exactly how we feel about the Lexus LC500. We've been fortunate enough to spend time with this model almost every single year. And for 2026, Lexus is doubling down on V8 performance and extreme luxury. And we just lived with this model for a full week to answer a big question. Is this the world's best Grand Tourer for $120,000? And should you buy one before it's gone? Let's go ahead and find out.
Now let's kick things off under the hood for a quick spec dump. Now this beautiful powerhouse under the hood is a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 making 471 horsepower. Power is routed to the ground via the rear wheels only and a 10-speed automatic transmission, and the combined fuel economy for this convertible is 18 mpg combined.
Now the base price for the LC500 is $101,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. Now, of course, this is a 7-day review, so we have quite a lot of impressions to share, as well as things like our real-world fuel economy, and then at the end, we're going to discuss resale and reliability.
But now let's go ahead and close up the hood because we have a lot to talk about with this beautiful and timeless exterior design.
So what better place to start out this review other than talking about the beautiful exterior design of this vehicle. Now, we're not going to see any radical design changes for 2026, but one thing I do want to point out that is new is the fact that the 500H model, so the hybrid version, is gone this year. It's just going to be the V8 version, which honestly I'm not too sad about. Now, up here in the front, we have a very intricate grille. Of course, it's going to be the signature Lexus spindle shape going on through here. We actually have the darkened finish. This is an option. The standard version would have a little bit more bling to the grille itself, but I think it looks really good with this iridium paint color. Now, as far as the headlights are concerned, we have very nice triple beam LEDs as standard equipment, as you would expect. These are very bright at nighttime, and then you also have your LED turn signal indicator down below. Now, as far as the wheels are concerned, Lexus skips straight to 21-inch alloy wheels. We have a very nice overall design to this one. It has a lot of contrast elements. I think it really pops with the exterior design. And then as far as the tires, these are Michelin Pilot Sport S tires. Moving up to the mirrors, we have a little bit of a gloss black finish. And of course, as you would expect, there are a ton of standard features on this model that would include power folding, auto dimming, as well as blind spot monitoring and heating. Now at this side, the LC comes in at 187 inches in length, and of course, as you can tell, we have the convertible. So this vehicle is available in both coupe and convertible configurations, and we also have a very cool blue top on this model. That's because we have the bespoke. That adds quite a bit to the interior, which you'll see in just a little bit. Additionally, if you want a lot of customizations, of course, any Grand Touring vehicle needs to have a lot of customizability. Lexus is offering a new Inspiration series for 2026. It's going to be limited to 200 units for the coupe version and 350 units for the convertible. So that definitely changes up the exterior design a little bit to give you a little bit of a sportier look overall. And of course, it's going to be quite rare. Now, as we move around to the rear of this LC500, this is one of my favorite rear ends on any vehicle, especially here in the convertible form. It is absolutely beautiful. We have our LC500 branding right here front and center, and then let's take a look at our taillights. Now, these are some of the most intricate taillights I have ever seen. They're very three-dimensional. They kind of stick out from the body. They are fully LED, as you would expect, and there's your turn signal indicator. And then dropping down to the diffuser area, all of this is going to be finished in a gloss black as well as some chrome trim. And guess what? We have quad exhaust outlets. This is also an active exhaust system, and it sounds absolutely phenomenal. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Now, when it comes to your safety systems, you would expect everything to be standard equipment. That is indeed the case for this LC500. That will even include things like adaptive cruise control. But guys, there is an absolutely lovely cabin that I can't wait to talk about and our impressions after living with it this week. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we have reviewed over 2,000 vehicles at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from humble to high-end, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now let's go ahead and hop into the beautiful cabin of this LC500, but first let's talk about the key fob. This is not going to be unusual for the Lexus products. You have a standard Lexus key fob on this model, but where things start to get a little special, is when you walk up to the door handles. As you see here, you have the pop-out fobs. If they don't pop out automatically when you walk up to it, you just push in, pull it out, and here you go. Go ahead and climb on in and take a look at this beautiful Lexus interior. So as Mason mentioned on the outside, the special part about this LC500 is that we have the bespoke build. And not only does that include things like the blue top, it includes some additional options that you can't get on the standard model, which starts with these seats. So the bespoke adds the semi-aniline leather comfort seats as standard equipment for this model. And then you can option on this really, really beautiful blue and white combination of leather. As you can see, it goes all throughout the cabin, all over the dash, and the seat design is really, really, truly elegant. You have a lot of detailed quilting, some perforations inside, and overall, the seats look fantastic and feel fantastic to sit in. The seat itself is going to be 8 ways of power adjusting, and you do have memory up there on the door as well. But let's go ahead and dive on inside and talk about the rest of the materials and technology. And hopping inside, I think the important detail of a $120,000 vehicle is the fact that you have carbon fiber scuff plates. I don't know if I would ever want to get my foot near that, but you have that option if you like to dirty those up a little bit. But now let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the cabin materials and finishes. So leather is the key word here. From top to bottom, you're going to have a ton of leather and all of this navy blue and white combo. It's going to go all the way across the top here. You're going to have stitching details all the way throughout. Kind of more of a soft textured material here as well. More leather, a little bit of aluminum detailing as well, and as it is a Lexus, everything is put together absolutely phenomenally. But let's go ahead and start it up with the standard push button start. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and close at the top so we can go ahead and focus in on the rest of the interior details. The way you do that is you open up your little secret control hatch here. You have your knob for both the windows and the top, and you can begin that process. And then you can roll up the windows the rest of the way here. And as you can see, this top is ridiculously smooth. In fact, we showed it to a few people this week and everybody was impressed with just how fluid the movements were. It's just really engineered very, very well. But now let's go ahead and dive into the interior details, starting here with your gauge cluster. So up here, you're gonna see that you do not have a fully digital gauge cluster, but instead you have an 8-inch digital display with the dial kind of centered in the middle of this display. Similar to the LFA model of old, you have the ability to move it over to the side, go through some details and change some settings as well. Just know it can be a little difficult to figure out exactly what you're doing at any given moment if you're moving. And then up at the top, you're going to have the optional head-up display for all LC models. As you pull back to the steering wheel, you have the beautifully leather-wrapped one in the navy blue leather. You have real paddle shifters behind the steering wheel and optional heating, which we do not have on today's model. Now you might be thinking that storage is not going to be existent at all in this LC500, but I think you will be impressed for what you do get. Everything starts back here, where first of all, you can slide it back just a little bit. You have a small little storage back here, and then if I grab under here, pop up the lid for the center console, excuse me, you're gonna have some donuts underneath. Even in the LC500, we still like to bring our donuts along because they are our Car Confections logo. We bring them along to test out the center console volume in every model we test. And for this LC, we're gonna be sitting at 5 donuts, which is honestly pretty good for a model such as this. Now closing that up and concealing all of this, you move up, you're gonna have a cup holder up there, just one, but it fits a decent amount of bottles of many different sizes. And then you're also gonna have a special Lexus LC plate there to tell you that you have more than just your average LC model. Now you're gonna have an electronic shifter here. You go to the side and back to put it into drive. You can use your paddle shifters if you would like. I can tell you they're very fun. Then over and up, you're gonna have a 360-degree camera, standard on all models when you go into reverse. It's very important when parking a fragile car such as this. Then you just press the P for park. You're gonna have your brake hold functions right here. And you also have some more functions over here when it comes to controlling things such as your seat climate. It is still controlled through the screen itself for your ventilation and your heated seats as standard on all models. One thing you won't have, which we did miss out on, is massage. That is one thing that we really want Lexus to add to really just create an even more luxurious environment than it already is. One thing you're also not going to have up in this area is a wireless charger. We do wish Lexus would add that as well. And then you're also going to have some more controls up here for your volume knob. First of all, this volume knob is one of the smoothest volume knobs in the entire auto industry. Love using it. I'm gonna go ahead and start our music so you can hear the 13-speaker Mark Levinson audio system that we have as an option on this LC. Yeah guys, for a small cabin like this, 13 speakers and that Mark Levinson audio really fills it up quite fantastic. I don't think you'll have any problems with it whatsoever. Now let's go ahead and move up just a little bit to talk about our climate controls. Nothing crazy here. You're gonna have a standard dual zone automatic climate control. Nice and physical controls, nice clicky feel to the buttons. Had no issues using this throughout the week. And you also have your climate concierge if you'd like to use that as well. Now recently Lexus updated the LC by adding a new 12.3-inch touchscreen display to all models. And that's what we have equipped on this one today. We're currently running wireless Apple CarPlay, and you also have wireless Android Auto, and then you also just have the standard Lexus infotainment setup. No issues using this at all throughout the week, and we found that even though we struggle with the Toyota system sometimes, our phones did connect pretty well throughout the period of this week. Now wrapping up the cabin, you're going to have an auto-dimming mirror up top. No digital mirror, which I wish they would add for some better rear visibility. And then of course you're going to have your convertible top up here. You'll have a glass roof if you opt for the coupe. Now we do have some back seats in the LC, so let's go ahead and quickly dive into those. First of all, to get back there, you're going to reach behind the seat, grab this handle, and it's going to push the seat up the rest of the way. And then let me go ahead and fold myself back here. It's a lot easier when you have the top down, by the way. All right. Oh, all right, here we go. Now, Lexus has rated the LC500 for 32 inches of legroom and 32 inches of headroom. Now, I like the convertible a lot better because that means you have infinite amount of headroom. I brought this, I guess, more of as a joke than anything, but we do have the official Car Confections ruler to see how much knee room I have. Obviously, there's zero, there's nothing. We sat 4 people in here throughout the week and had a friend who had to scoot his seat all the way up just so the person behind him could be comfortable. So this is not a car in which you're gonna take the whole family for a vacation, but I'm glad that you at least do have back seats in the case of needing them. Now as we walk up to the trunk, the space game continues here. You got a little button next here to the taillight to open up your trunk. Now for the convertible model, you're not gonna have a lot of space. It's only about 3.4 cubic feet. That goes up to a whopping 5.4 cubic feet, if you go for the coupe model. It's enough to maybe fit a couple of bags back here for a weekend trip. And for the thrill of it, we're gonna go ahead and get our cargo measurements because this is a Car Confections video after all. I could almost use the ruler for this. But for your overall length, we're going to be sitting at about 26 inches. For the general width of the trunk opening, you're going to be looking at around 41 inches. And then for your overall height, it's going to be quite shallow at about only 8 inches of overall depth. Now underneath, you're not going to have any additional storage, just your battery under the floor there.
Well, guys, the time is finally here. We are behind the wheel of the Lexus LC500. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a lot, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting things like our sound level reading so we can see how quiet this vehicle is. But first, we've got to start with a hard acceleration. I promise that you won't be disappointed. And that was an acceleration up to 65 miles per hour in the Lexus LC500 convertible. Now, you can probably tell by the smile on our face and that absolutely awesome sound that we have the 500, which is a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. And this is going to be making 471 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque. So overall, those are definitely very healthy power numbers. It gets you to 60 in about 4.4 seconds. This vehicle is not about like raw 0 to 60 speed. It's about the experience getting there. And as you can see, that was quite a nice experience getting to 60. And you know, of course, like I said at the very beginning of this video, for 2026, they have removed the hybrid from the lineup. So this is the only way that you can get the LC. And I have to say, I am not sad about that, even in the slightest bit. We did actually have the chance to live with a hybrid in 2024 for a full week. Not a bad vehicle, but it certainly doesn't have the character of this 5-liter V8, that is for sure.
Yeah, as they say, there's no replacement for displacement, and this 5-liter V8 encapsulates that perfectly. It just makes your heart flutter whenever you hear it rev into the higher RPMs.
Yeah, so the sound is a really big part of this vehicle, that's for sure. So, you know, the power figures are not going to be like absolutely insane, that's for sure. You know, especially the torque figure, it's not, you know, too fast really. But at the end of the day, it's about the experience getting there, like I said. And this V8 has so much character to it. I think you're going to immediately fall in love with this as soon as you get behind the wheel. Sounds even better in sport mode.
Oh yeah, and what you can also hear shifting through the gears there is the 10-speed automatic that you get on the LC500. Power is routed standard through the rear wheels only, and we really didn't have a lot of issues with the transmission overall this week. It's a really responsive one. If you want even more response, you can use the wonderful metal paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. The only thing we will say is that it gets just a little confused just because it is a lot of gears to choose between at times.
All right, that was a sport mode acceleration. Now we're going to go into the normal drive mode. We have it on fan speed 1 so we can see how quiet it is with the top up, of course.
Going 55 miles an hour. Very nice. We're going to be sitting in at 56.2 decibels for the LC500 this year. And I don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to all of its many competitors. I can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings to look at it. Now, indeed, when you do compare it to other sporty vehicles, this LC500 was and is, and it continues to be one of the quietest options in the segment. And what I really love about the Lexus LC500 is that this is a Grand Tour. And if you don't know what a Grand Tour is, it's a car that is meant to really take you on a long road trip. You can take it on the highway, you can be comfortable in it on a day-to-day commute, but it also has that dual character, which we're about to see as we head back into the back roads, that can really turn it into a Japanese muscle car, so to speak, as well. So that sound level reading really encapsulates what it is to be a Grand Tour.
Yeah. And I will also point out, this is the convertible. We spent, you know, obviously for our cameras and so you can hear me well, we don't have the top down, but we did multiple times throughout the week drive with the top down. This is still a very quiet vehicle, even with it down. You roll the windows up and you don't even have to raise your voice at all. So if you're concerned about it being too loud when you put the top down, don't be. This is one of the quietest convertibles. It may be the quietest convertible that I've ever driven. And like Josh was just insinuating there, this vehicle definitely has luxury at the forefront of its mission. When it comes to ride quality, this vehicle just does such a great job. We, over the course of the week, drove it on a couple different hour-long, 2-hour-long road trips, and this is a vehicle you just arrive completely refreshed in. These seats are incredibly comfortable. The suspension does a fantastic job of just soaking up the bumps. Even when you hit the large bumps in the road, the 21s really don't impact your ride quality at all. So I think you will be more than pleasantly surprised when it comes to the ride quality department. All right, so I put it in manual mode, and we've kind of turned out on a lovely country road so I can demonstrate this vehicle's dynamics. As I was just saying, this is more comfort oriented than sport. That being said, it does still have, you know, decent chops when it comes to a back road like this. It's going to be a lot of fun to drive. And one of the things that I really love about this transmission is it is extremely responsive to the paddle. So as you can see, you get those downshifts pretty much immediately, and boy, that sound is intoxicating. Now, going around that corner there, I do want to point out, when it comes to dynamics, this is a very heavy vehicle. You can feel its weight when you go around a corner like that. That being said, it's still pretty fun to drive. As Joshua was mentioning earlier, you can kind of think of this as almost like a Japanese muscle car, because, you know, those are typically kind of heavy, but they're still fun to drive out on a back road like this. You can also option on specific versions of the LC to make it a little bit sportier with an adaptive suspension setup. We do not have that on this model, so it's definitely going to be more on the luxury side.
Yeah, and I will also mention that last year Lexus made some additional bracing under the body of the vehicle to make it handle just a little bit more rigid, and I can feel that compared to previous models of the LC we've been in. But at the end of the day, luxury is going to be its focus. This is a luxury spec of the LC. Now, you've been hearing this V8 the whole time. You're probably either thinking or not caring whatsoever what the fuel economy is, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Both the coupe and the convertible are rated for 18 mpg combined. The convertible is just a little bit lower in your city and highway ratings, as you can see on the screen right now. And if you're driving it like we do this week, you may think that you're not going to get anywhere near that EPA estimate, but we have taken this car for quite a few hundred miles. You can see on the screen right now our total at the end of this week, and we're sitting at 18 mpg combined. Over 18 mpg combined is super impressive for a car such as this. We're consistently staying above that EPA rating, either on a highway or a back road. This has really blown us away, and it blows us away every single time when it comes to this car consistently standing up to its EPA rating.
So much fun in the manual mode. Okay, now let's talk about our slam dunk and airball when it comes to the LC. I'll kick us off with the slam dunk. Guys, I think this is just gotta be the way this vehicle is aging. Really, this is a fantastic package. You've heard us kind of gush about it for too long, so I'm not gonna, keep ranting about it. The engine is phenomenal. This interior is phenomenally luxurious, and really this is a car that has a mission, and it absolutely nails that mission. So if you're looking for a grand touring luxury vehicle, this is definitely one of the best options.
Yeah, and the only thing when it comes to the airball that we would want to add to that overall luxury experience is just two items, really: massaging seats, wireless phone charger. That would make this experience even better than it already is, but when you hear that 5-liter V8, you're not really missing out on any of it at all.
And it's a 7-day review, so we'll also tell you if we like it better, the same, or worse after living with it. Well, we've lived with this LC500 multiple times, so it's a little cheating to say better, but there's no way that I can give it anything other than better. It is an absolute joy to live with every single day. And let's go ahead and talk about the pricing for the LC. Now, all this doesn't come cheap, but I would argue it's actually a pretty good value compared to some of its competition. Now, we're sitting at $101,000 as our base price for the coupe model. The convertible is more expensive, as you might expect. $109,000 is your starting point for that. Now, if you want the rare inspiration versions, those are going to carry a higher price tag, of course. $121,000 for the coupe model and $120,000 for the convertible version. Now, this particular LC does have almost all of the options on it. We do not have the inspiration, but we have the bespoke build. After we add that, the optional interior, as well as quite a lot of other options. $1,350 destination, we're sitting at $119,855 as tested today. Now, if you're looking to buy a Lexus LC or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment down below. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's go ahead and talk about resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, we took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Lexus LC500's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 53.8% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 28.1%. Now, it's worth noting those are very good resale value percentages. It's actually above average for all vehicle brands, and it's the #1 luxury brand. I do want to point out, though, that this vehicle is very expensive, so sometimes those can depreciate at higher rates, but given the kind of rareness of this vehicle, that may also help its overall resale value.
Now, I've also done the same thing for reliability by creating the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account a variety of trusted automotive resources and makes them into a more holistic picture. In this rating, Lexus is rated above average in regard to all vehicle makes and is one of the top luxury brands when it comes to reliability.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values as well as our reliability data, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Now, when it comes to your warranty, you do have a pretty good warranty. So it's a basic warranty of 4-year, 50,000 miles, a powertrain warranty of 6-year, 70,000 miles, and you do also get some complimentary service. And guys, that's going to unfortunately wrap up our in-depth 7-day review of the Lexus LC500 convertible. Of course, if you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of cool car videos on this channel. I promise you won't want to miss out. We don't just cover exotic and very luxurious vehicles like this. We also cover a lot of mainstream products as well. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.